what is a touch?
Physical contact, Mom.
Agent 2, what is a good touch?
Touches that make you feel alright, Mom.
Such as?
A high five, a handshake, even a kiss, Mom.
Good. Now, Agent 3, what is a bad touch?
Touches that make you feel not so good, Mom.
Like a slap, a kick, a pinch, and most important, if someone touches your private parts. And what do we do when someone gives us a bad touch?
You tell a trusted adult, Mom.
For help, Mom.
Tell them,
don't do that, Mom. Agent, I see that you understand. Now it's your mission to spread this information. Just remember that good touches are okay, and bad touches are
not okay.
So, Agent, go spread the word.
Yes, Mom.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
The Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale was developed in 1971 by civil engineer Herbert Saffir and meteorologist Robert Simpson, who was the director of the U.S. National Hurricane Center. It was introduced to the public in 1973 and began to be widely used a year later, inspired by the Richter scale that measures earthquakes. The Saffir-Simpson scale was divided into 5 categories. Originally, the scale included predicted barometric pressures associated with the various wind speeds, as well as the relative kinds of damage that could be anticipated. However, because those predictions were found to be very inaccurate just a few years ago, the warning system was changed to include only the wind speeds, which were also adjusted upwards in the higher categories. A Category 1 hurricane has wind speeds between 74 and 95 miles per hour. A Category 2 hurricane has wind speeds between 96 and 110 miles per hour. A Cat 3, 111 to 129 miles per hour. A Cat 4, 130 to 156 miles per hour. And a Category 5 hurricane will have wind speeds from 157 miles per hour and up.
Coming up in the news, officials from Carnival Corporation giving an update on the $200 million investment. The Grand Bahama Humane Society has a huge dilemma on its hands. And tonight we launch a 3-part series on the amendment to the evidence bill. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news, the Carnival Corporation says they are moving ahead with the Grand Bahama Cruise Port project. Ground was broken in May for the $200 million investment that is expected to create direct and spin-off opportunities. Officials are expected on Grand Bahama next week to share information on job opportunities to become available. Our Jolanda Thompson is on that story tonight.
The Carnival Cruise Corporation is set to commence the first phase of work on its $200 million project in September. Team members say they are excited about the new state-of-the-art port to be built in East Lucayo. Carnival Corporation is also looking forward to providing hundreds of jobs for Bahamians. We spoke with President of Global Ports and Destination Development, Mr. David Candip, about their immediate plans. Candip in a Zoom interview telling ZNS News that the initial phase of this development will focus on the maritime element, and in a couple of days a number of small vessels will be arriving.
the elements of the maritime first, because relative to the project, there is a sequencing that needs to take place. Because first we need to ensure that our ships can come safely to the new port, and that requires, the pier construction. And there are some components that we need to do before we can actually build the pier. And those are the elements that we're working on now and finalizing that. So over the next weeks, you'll probably start to see some of the smaller vessels in and around the project location as part of the first phase of the maritime construction.
Dredging of the harbor is expected to begin in late September. Candip says they are working with multi-million-dollar companies to get the work done. He notes that the material gathered from dredging will be used to carry out the work on the land side of the project.
We expect the dredge project to commence probably late September or early October. But even then, it's kind of one large vessel with supporting vessels around there. And you won't see a lot of let's say, the work on the land side start until we start to utilize the material from the dredge project. And then we're able to elevate the land there and then start with vertical works, in the spring of 23. So while we are starting and we're busy working with a lot of the companies and individuals who have expressed interest, there are elements and phases that require us to go in these steps before you start to see a lot of the work actually at the port site on the land.
Candip says that officials will host a business community session soon that will focus on job opportunities for persons in the construction industry, retail, food, and beverage sectors. He also notes that they will be open to hearing any concerns from the community regarding the project. From the News Center, I'm Julanda Thompson for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition.
We did some investigations and tried to find out who possibly had ordered the crew to do the work. And several names came up, so I'm not really sure who exactly gave the orders, but I did go on a trip down to West End on Monday on the holiday to see what exactly had transpired. I took photos of the chopped mangroves, and then also went all the way down. Chopped because someone wanted a view of the ocean. So a view of the ocean is one thing, but mangroves protect the island from storms, as well as the prop roots come out like fingers, and when the waves bring in the sand can't go back out. So the mangroves actually grow land, which is hard to do. And then they're a fisheries nursery for all the young fish, crabs, lobster, conch, all the things that we like to eat usually get their start in the mangrove prop roots. So just chopping them down so you can have a view of the ocean is just insane.
Now we reached out to the Ministry for Grand Bahama responsible for the beautiful Grand Bahama cleanup in the Western District. We were told that the particular area is not a part of their initiative. Well, in other news, the Grand Bahama Humane Society is in a serious dilemma. Too many animals, not enough homes, and a lack of resources, leaving the Humane Society of Grand Bahama with no other choice but to put a large number of their animals in their care to sleep. That is the cry tonight from the Society's executive director as she pleads for stiffer penalties for those who neglect their pets. Mass euthanasia. That is what takes place at the Grand Bahama Humane Society each year because according to the executive director, Tip Burrows, there is simply not enough room. The Humane Society takes in about 1,100 animals each year, and out of that number, 55% of them are put to death.
We're just taking in more animals than ever.
The Humane Society can house up to 100 dogs comfortably. They are currently at capacity, but that number increases daily.
We take in pit bulls, shih tzus, German shepherds. We have several of each one of those breeds here right now.
Burrows says their aim is always to save the animals' lives, but with the local adoption numbers being extremely low, they are out of options.
The reality is we have too many animals, then not enough homes, and we have too much out-of-control breeding. both intentional and accidental. I would say to everybody breeding dogs out there, stop. Just stop, man. Give it a rest. All of them come in with medical conditions, so you're selling puppies to people who can't take care of them. You know, if you're going to be a responsible breeder, you need to follow up on your puppies. And you shouldn't be selling puppies to other people to breed.
So, what is the solution?
The answer for this is multifaceted. Spay-neuter is one of the big answers. More people need to spay and neuter their pets. Stop having all these litters. The other answer is enforcement of the laws when it comes to animals and responsible pet ownership. As long as people are allowed to keep getting away with neglecting their pets, letting them run loose, abandoning them, they're going to keep doing it.
What is most alarming, she says, if something is not done, more animals will be put to death each year. Additionally, she says, while it is not an easy thing to do, the euthanization process is quite humane for the animals.
We always sedate the animal first so that they're not afraid and so that they're already, calm and basically asleep when they get the final injection. So it's done, they always get pets and love and they're handled very gently and compassionately. So it's not painful for them, and that's one of the reasons we sedate them as well as to eliminate pain and fear for them.
An update now on that decomposed body of a male found in a derelict vehicle outside of Santa Maria Apartments in North Bahama over the weekend. Police say the victim has been identified as Justin Stewart, an autistic 19-year-old that was reported missing over a week ago. His death has been classified as suspicious, and police say they await the results of an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death. Well, tonight, our Simone Davis begins a three-part series on the Evidence Act. We hear the story of a woman who made it through deadly Hurricane Dorian, but her youngest daughter perished. Today, thanks to the recent amendment to the Evidence Act, she is now able to retrieve her daughter's death certificate and give her grandson the life he deserves. Here is that report.
Imagine waiting 7 years to retrieve the death certificate of a loved one who was reported missing. Imagine waiting 7 years for closure. Well, that's been the reality of many Bahamians under the previous evidence bill, which stated that a person had to be missing for 7 years before they can be declared dead.
This is a Dorian issue now for me, and the 2 years has passed, so this takes effect today.
On July 6, 2022, the Davis-Cooper administration made history by amending the legislation, reducing the wait time from 7 years to 2 years. This means that all missing persons from Hurricane Dorian are now declared deceased by the coroner's court, and the families of those victims can now retrieve death certificates and insurance money. Indra Ford is a Dorian survivor, but her then 24-year-old daughter, Giovanna J. Ford, perished in the storm, leaving behind a 21-month-old baby boy. Indra is now left to raise her grandson alone.
During that time, the police would call and they said, we found this person, but they're wearing this, and it was never anything that she had on. So even though I wasn't here, we were still going through the trauma of wrong identity.
On September 1st, 2019, Grand Bahama and Abaco were at the mercy of the deadly Hurricane Dorian that hit the Bahamas as a Category 5 storm and claimed the lives of about 70 Bahamians. Now, nearly 3 years after Dorian ravaged through East Grand Bahama, some families of those victims have still not received death certificates for loved ones whose bodies were never found. Indra lost her home, all of her belongings, and her youngest daughter to the storm, and says she received no assistance from the previous administration. For Indra, her journey to normalcy has been a horrific road to trod. But with the enactment of the Evidence Amendment Bill 2022, she can now see the light at the end of the tunnel.
It hasn't been easy. This is not an easy road. The bill has, like I said, it gave us some clear path to how these children are going to be taken care of. Being able to conduct business on his behalf now helps, because I don't want him to just be a statistic. We're talking about a mother that passed away, young mother that wanted the best for her child.
This Dorian survivor credits her grandson, Jai, who is now 4 years old, for giving her the courage to fight for this legislation. She can now become his legal guardian and conduct business on his behalf. She adds that her main concern now is helping the children of those victims who became orphans after Dorian.
Who took care of the children of the Dorian victims for the past almost 3 years? We're talking about infants. My grandson was 21 months at the time. And I didn't feel it because I had my mother, my daughter Shanonica, my sister Gia, pulled together to make sure this baby was straight. But what about the children that don't have a strong family background?
She says it's still a daily struggle as she's putting the pieces of her life back together, and her grandson still battles the depression of living without his mother.
You know what my grandson said to me the other day? Grammy, can you help me? I lost my mommy 2 weeks ago. Last week he said to me, Grammy, I'm very sad. I said, don't be sad, baby. And I feel that I know I provide a life, a comfortable life for him. But in all the joy that I provide for him, there's still a miss.
Indra said she's proud that she never gave up her fight, because while she helped to make history in the Bahamas on July 6th, she's even more grateful that other Dorian survivors can now have some sort of relief. Tomorrow, we have the miraculous story of another Dorian survivor who lost her home, her husband, and all of her children to the storm. We will hear her story of survival and the role she played that led to this historic legislation. But for now, for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.
Stay with us. There's more news after this break.
Come on down to Dolly Madison and get your hurricane supplies before it's too late. Don't let supply chain issues cause you to miss out on hurricane supplies you need. Come on down. Now.
Try to learn, trying to get better. Don't look at us here, buddy being here. Try to learn from the coaches, learn from us.
Grand Bahama, get ready for the 7th annual Buddy Heal Camp and Clinic. Just jump July 27 to July 29, 2022 at Jack Hayward High Gymnasium, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Guest speakers, prizes, and scholarships. There will be giveaways on Saturday, July 30th at the Rock Plaza 8 Mile Rock Shopping Center, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Don't miss it.
Nowadays, tiles trend like fashion, and Grand Bahama Tiles leads the way with trendy and classic styles from North and South America, Europe, and Asia. Imagine your home with natural stone, elegant marble, sleek porcelain, earthy granite, or slate. Grand Bahama Tiles has it all. They even export to the Family Islands. Maybe it's time to update your style, get the look, and transform your space with the latest tiles trending at Grand Bahama Tiles.
Because I was hearing and feeling the pain of families that had missing family members.
7 years. That's how long it took for a person who was considered missing to be declared dead, which means that's how long it took for the families of those victims to have some sort of emotional, psychological, and financial closure. Nearly 3 years after Hurricane Dorian, some families of those victims still found no relief until the Davis-Cooper administration amended the Evidence Act in 2022.
Dorian is due now for me, and the 2 years has passed, so this takes effect today.
I'm Simone Davis, and I invite you to join Join us as we take a deeper dive into the Evidence Act 2022 and how this historic piece of legislation will change the lives of many Bahamians.
We are there for the people, and we say we're there for the people, then work on behalf of the people.
If I had given up, those persons that have to go and collect their insurance money and who can move on with their life, they possibly would have not been in a position to do so.
The bill has, like I said, it gave us some clear path to how these children are going to be taken care of.
#1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
And welcome back. The Israeli nonprofit organization Israel Aid was among the many NGOs that came to Grand Bahama in the wake of Hurricane Dorian. Israel Aid continues to make their mark on the island. The NGO organizing a ceremony at the Church of God of Prophecy in Pinedale to hand over a multi-purpose center in that district named in honor of Franklin Williams. Jelena Thompson has that story.
Israel Aid has been a hand-up for many in Grand Bahama and indeed West Grand Bahama. Representatives with Israel Aid made their way to the island 2 days after Hurricane Dorian hit on September 3rd, 2019, and has made a tremendous impact ever since. During the handover ceremony, Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, applauded the non-profit organization for their work on the island. She says that the rebuilding efforts would not have made it this far without the help of NGOs such as Israel Aid.
Grand Bahamians have been through so much over the past, I would say, many years, but it's in particular after Dorian and with the pandemic. And like I said, you've been here, you've been with us, and I know how much NGOs meant and mean to the rebuilding of Grand Bahama Island.
The Minister for Grand Bahama also highlighting her new unit, Collab, which is an initiative that focuses on partnership development and solving issues. She says that despite some challenges that may seem insurmountable, it is important to work together to get the job done.
And so if we say that we are creating a structure where we can bring the players together to deal with issues, then we have all hands on deck.
Israel Aid Bahamas Country Director Dimitri Medlev says that the center can be viewed as a beacon of hope for the community and listed some activities that the center will offer.
We are handing over this program to our partner, the church, and the church will carry on with implementing the after-school support activities, implementing the IT classes, carrying on with the music classes for the children, and with lots of other different activities.
Deputy Director of Urban Renewal, Senator Kirk Russell, calling the newly launched office a sign of hope and identity for the people of Pinedale. He notes that it definitely bridges the gap between seniors and the youth of that community.
When you look at this building, the purpose of this building, to create a wholesome atmosphere for the young, the not so young, the old or elderly, to provide education, job readiness, training. It will be, of course, a shelter of refuge.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jelena Thompson.
Well, she is the epitome of perseverance. Despite the many odds, she has prevailed. Tonight, Aja Kwan introduces us to a young girl who is widely admired for her strength.
She's tiny, but mighty. Brianna Johnson recently graduating as valedictorian from the Bartlett Hill Primary School in 8 Mile Rock, overcoming what many may call the impossible.
The road has not been easy for me, but by the grace of God, I've made it through my primary school journey.
Johnson is an 11-year-old fighter who was determined to finish her 6th grade year on top. Just 3 years into her schooling, Brianna experienced pain in the lower part of her body, causing her to miss many days of school.
I think it started in grade 3, my ankles started giving me problems, and then moved up to my knee to the point I was in a wheelchair. Lots of time, my teacher had to call me and come pick me up because my leg was either hurting too much for me to bear it, or something else was just hurting.
After experiencing constant severe pain and visiting many doctors across the island, her mother, Euleth Williams, says she was recommended to a specialist abroad.
When I take her to see a specialist, I had to do blood work and everything, so we had to wait for a while for the results to come in. But she gave me some medication, and the medication she gave me, listen here, priceless. She has something called children's idiopathic arthritis. It's an autoimmune disease. And along with that, she's also a sickle cell patient. So right now she's battling 2 diseases in one.
With education at the forefront and with the help of teachers and classmates, Brianna captured the valedictorian title and walked across the stage as family, her godmothers, and friends celebrated. Her mother says it was prayers that kept them anchored.
I used to keep encouraging her when she go into sleep at night. I said, say your prayers. I said, you have to mean it from your heart. You can't just pray. You have to mean it from your heart. And I had 1 or 2 people, that volunteered to prayers, and I never refused prayer because, like I told one of my friends, you don't know who God sent to bless her.
Now Brianna is heading to Falconland, where she says she will continue to be an influence to her peers. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Adra Quant.
Great job, Brianna. Stay tuned. Sports is up next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports. We have quite a few updates with basketball, but let's begin with soccer at the Freeport Rugby Club.
The Freeport Rugby Football Club soccer camp has a number of enthusiastic players currently enrolled. The camp kicked off on July 4th, and Coach Ian Austin says the players have been extremely excited so far.
The enthusiasm of the players are there, and as you can see, we have a number of the senior players here who is helping to impart some of the knowledge of the game. We focus a lot on the fundamentals of the game, the basic passing, dribbling, before we get on to the technical aspect of the game, which will come later on as the skill develops.
The camp also features some youth coaches, and 14-year-old Alan Austin says he's excited about his first year as an assistant coach.
It's been an experience, to be honest, because I never really coached and did this whole thing before, but I learned, and it's a good experience, to be honest. The kids, they open to knowledge, and it's been good.
The camp closes out on Friday, July 15th. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Another Grand Bahamian professional athlete had a successful year on the court when Mackey Jr. recently completed his first year with Malhouse Basket in France. Mackey Jr. is looking forward to returning to Europe in August to continue his professional basketball career, where he averaged 11 points, 5.9 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 0.3 blocks per game. The 28-year-old 6'8" forward played his collegiate ball at Northwestern Ohio University, where he was an All-American performer. And finally, in sports, play continued Tuesday in the West Grand Bahama Summer Basketball League. In under 15 play, Zorbas defeated Fair Play 24-22. In under 18 action, Express got a W versus Prescription Parlor 40-28. Starter Specials also edged out Grand Central 31-29. In open play, Econo got the W versus Island Builders 31-22. Also, Powerade got the win versus FES Construction 32-31. And Pierre Developers got the W over Janopoli Construction 42-33. And that's a quick check on sports, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Third Dimension on Yellow Pine Street introduces its new home improvement center. Step into our brand new, fully stocked showroom for the latest in doors, tiles, housewares, kitchenwares, bathwares, vanities, power tools, electrical, and plumbing supplies. So stop by our showroom to view our full range of products or call the Home Advisor hotline at 602-0935 today. We are your home advisors.
What? Check old girl, boy. You say she getting married?
Oh, man. Not again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC Home Internet
with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them...
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you have BTC home internet to unite with her mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have?
Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
Hi, I'm Wes. I'd like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Let us put shoes on your feet.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with Z&S to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
She looking her lips and moving them hips like coming, baby. I wanna take it down now.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM. If you're thinking of investing in Grand Bahama or any other island, contact Bahama Island Properties for all of your real estate services. Visit their office in the Port Lacaya Marketplace, their website bahamaislandproperties.com, or call them at 374-7653. Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Shamiko Pinder, you are our Facebook friend of the day, and we want to say thank you so much for your support. We do appreciate it. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team here in the North, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight is coming your way next.
In the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, a move to remove senseless convictions. More on that positive malaria case. The Prime Minister unveils the National Development Plan. And in sports, the bodybuilding national set for this weekend. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Super Fast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
Good evening. I'm Jimenita Swain. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for tuning in. From education to health and wellness, the environment and the economy, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis outlining a comprehensive plan to steer the country forward last night. The Prime Minister headlining the University of the Bahamas' distinguished lecture series by detailing the country's National Development Plan. Desmond Sanders tells us more.
The nation's chief says a need exists to address the overwhelming short-term issues while setting the country on a sustainable path to fulfill a long-term vision. On the issue of the economy, Davis says his administration will tackle the inequalities created by capitalism and give everyone a fair share of the economic pie.
We will work to make the system of taxation fairer. We will work towards ensuring that workers earn not just a minimum wage, but a livable wage. I accept that complete economic equality is an unrealistic goal. What is achievable, though, however, and morally compelling for us, is to protect that which I believe to be the common denominator of humanity.
Referencing the economic policies of successive governments, Davis says the economy decades past was not sufficiently expanded and diversified in order to accommodate the emerging middle class, adding that some policies only cater to a selected few. The Prime Minister says his administration will now ensure that public investment in education, housing, and transportation benefit the masses.
You can see how, in just 9 months, we have broader access to affordable housing, and we made that a priority. This contrasts, of course, with the approach of the previous administration, which was to provide land for those who already had financial success behind them.
On the issue of education, Davis says his government will educate not just for the broad curriculum, but ensure that Bahamians can take advantage of the opportunities the country is seeking to stimulate in the orange, green, and blue economies. He's also concerned about the achievement gap and learning loss of students due to the recent pandemic.
Our support for the LJM Maritime Academy reflects this, along with the launch of a new school for the creative and performing arts. That said, we also recognize that our cultural norms do not currently support and promote the value of education as they once did.
With $10 million allocated in this year's budget to cover the cost of catastrophic health care, health and wellness also a top priority.
Plans are well advanced to build new clinics and hospitals, but we have a bigger ambition: the recruitment of more doctors and nurses and staff who can give patients the care they need. Strengthening national health insurance to ensure that Bahamians can access that care.
On the issue of the environment, Davis believes climate change must be addressed as it poses a serious threat to our country. The Prime Minister is hoping to carry out these plans in earnest. National development, he says, requires the participation of everyone for the betterment of society. For the Bahamas Tonight, Desmond Saunders.
Well, the country's policymakers hoping to adopt the National Development Plan that's branded as a guide and vision for government's decision-making and investment over the next 25 years. After his address, the Prime Minister answered several questions fielded to him from the audience. He confirmed the government is currently reviewing marijuana legislation and opportunities are now available for qualified Bahamians in the maritime industry.
Once you are certified in any areas in the maritime boating industry, the cruise ships that come here have committed themselves to hiring every Bahamian that they can. Those cruise ships will have persons from the Philippines and the Far East, and it's more economical for them to hire local than to be flying them from that distance to hear their visa issues, any number of issues.
Well, the Prime Minister also reiterated the issue of trust in government.
The lack of trust has arisen because of the lack of transparency, a lack of accountability, and a lack of delivery. We've already taken steps and will continue to take steps to improve on each one of these. Our weekly press conferences, statements, video newsreels are all produced in an attempt to keep the Bahamian people informed about what we are doing. We've also improved media access to ministers so that ministers can give thoughtful answers to questions. Even though it is still early days, we expect to be held accountable for our decisions and actions. And we hope and expect that everyone in political life shares the same willingness to be held accountable.
Well, the Prime Minister left the country this morning to attend the 2022 Concordia Americas Summit in Miami, Florida this afternoon. Prime Minister Davis joined Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, in a panel conversation on the importance of regional cooperation in advancing investment and economic development across the region. The Prime Minister underscored how diplomacy and trade dialogue among nations is the bedrock for the global cooperation that has been evident during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I had to remind the industrialized world and the major economies that with the pandemic, we thought that we were, as a small island developing states, we were not having access to vaccines, and they were, in our view, hoarding vaccines because they were looking after their people, and maybe self-survival is mother's first nature, they said. But what we have to remind each other, which I reminded them, is that, you know, they will not be safe unless we are all safe. Meaning that they need to share the vaccine, because their people whom they are protecting will come to our shores. And if they come to our shores, they're likely to be exposed to the virus, just unless we too are safe and are protected against it.
More on that positive malaria case in the Bahamas reported by the Ministry of Health and Wellness yesterday. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. the Honorable Michael Darwell, told our news team earlier this afternoon that a medical practitioner confirmed the positive case through a blood sample.
Now monitoring the situation very closely, and as we speak, individuals are being contacted to ensure that those who may have been exposed do not have malaria. I want to make it very clear that this case has nothing to do with our delegation that went to Rwanda, and it was a case of an individual who visited one of the West African countries. The infectious disease specialist is involved, and the Bahamian people have no need to worry at this particular time.
Malaria is defined as a disease caused by a parasite that spread to humans through infected mosquito bites. Those infected with malaria usually feel very sick with a high fever and shaking chills.
Malaria is not endemic in the Bahamas. It's endemic in West African countries and some South American countries. And from time to time, we do have individuals who travel and come back into the country and test positive for malaria. The treatment modalities are straightforward. This particular individual is being treated, and the situation is well under control.
Also from Health, the Health and Wellness Minister optimistic that negotiations over a new industrial agreement for nurses could be completed soon. Dr. Dowell confirmed that negotiations with the Bahamas Nurses Union is progressing even after more than 300 members recently voted to strike over demands that their expired industrial agreement be signed. He also addressed agreements for unions in the medical profession.
The negotiations are ongoing. We have our negotiator that is at the table, along with the PHA, the Ministry of Health, and negotiations are moving. We want them to be concluded in the short term, but I've gotten some excellent reports that we're getting closer to finalizing those negotiations, not only with the nurses, the junior doctors, the consultant union, but also allied healthcare workers as well.
While still to come, government still trying to clear Crown land and offenders getting a second chance. Those stories and more after the break.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Welcome to a world where hope is still loud, where dreams are still relevant, and determination has no substitute. Welcome to a nation where the people are still warm, resilient, and innovative. And Commonwealth Bank is at the center of it all, giving innovation and progress an extra push for more than 60 years. We're here for Bahamians because we are Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking services.
What? Check old girl, boy. You say she getting married? Oh, man, not again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC home internet with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them...
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you have BTC home internet to unite with her mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have?
Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
They say that when it hits you, it hits you. A feeling so strong that it's impossible not to give into. A juicy piece of KFC to feel elevated by the aroma and to free fall into its exciting flavor. Some call it love, attraction, desire. We call it KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Hello? Keisha, you something else, boy.
Who this is? Tamika?
You ain't even remember my name? Wow, Dread.
Girl, I've been so busy. You still planning your trip?
Girl, and I can't wait. I right here online booking my car.
You dare planning trip? You vaccinated?
Girl, we had to. We ain't been nowhere since this pandemic started. Girl, and we got a 14-day vacation.
Best vacation ever.
Girl, are you though?
Well, I know you was gonna get the vaccine because you too like travel. When y'all get your vaccine?
Girl, long time. Because you gotta get your first dose, wait, then get your second dose at least 2 weeks before you travel. Johnny get his vaccine and he 12. Even Grammy get hers. Child, and Grammy say she ain't get no money. But I see her hiding that under the mattress.
Child, let me send my list, because I know you going shopping.
Keisha, don't play with me.
Vaccinate today, live tomorrow. A message by PAHO WHO, Canada, and USAID.
I was actually born into farming. My grandfather, who is 80 years old, he's a first-generation farmer. 3 generations later, I decided to go into farming. So we do have 2 operating farms at this time, the one in Nassau and the one in Andros. This season, Access Accelerator assisted us in funding our strawberry project here on Andros. With us being able to access the Fish and Farmers Grant, it has actually given us the capital that we needed to start this farming season for our strawberry crop. We do believe that people eating organic food is very important. We want to offer safe food and organic food. Some persons are still shocked that we've been existing for 8 years. Outside of having to come to our website to make purchases, if we can get more of our products to our clients, we'd be happy to do that, and local distribution would help us with that. I can tell you the industry is not attractive for young people. However, if you are passionate about something, you will definitely be able to excel in that area. And at this point, for me, it's fun to be a farmer in the Bahamas.
With independence comes freedom. The freedom to explore. Create memories, to be proud, and the freedom to choose color. Happy Independence, Bahamas.
Satisfying to own your own piece of paradise? The most important investment you can make in your life is real estate, and Fidelity has the solution for you. You could become the owner of a home or a lot on any of our beautiful islands. Come and talk to a loan officer and inquire about how you can fund your goals with a loan today. Because we know it means a lot to own a lot. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or visit any of our branches, or phone 356-7764 in Nassau, or 352-6676 for Freeport. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited. If it's healthcare, it's here.
Well, call it a second chance. There's some relief for the raft of people trying to have their convictions wiped clean, having picked up breaches during the emergency order period. Mokashla Pender explains.
The Davis administration's looking to make good on an election promise, and that's to shorten the time for the expungement of certain offenses from 2 years to 6 months. The legislative move to do so born out of a need to relieve individuals of the burden of convictions coming out of COVID-19 emergency orders. Making a case for a proposed amendment to the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act, National Security Minister the Honorable Wayne Munro reasoned that the impact of such laws seemed to disproportionately impact the poor, the homeless, the disadvantaged, and skip over the rich and the privileged.
We had the phenomena, which is a national disgrace, of Charles Johnson, a man in his 60s who was confined to a house without electricity, without running water, who after weeks decided that he just needed some fresh air, stepped out of his house and was hauled before the court and has a conviction at 60 for a criminal offense where it's not reported, so we can't say that it happened or not, but where other senior citizens could fly in to bury a dog without any reported adverse consequences. That cannot be right. That cannot be just.
Johnson, who was fined, was reportedly left traumatized, having never entered a court. Monroe pressed on, citing the cases of individuals having to breach emergency orders to leave their yards to collect water from public pumps, or that of a young man who had to care for an elderly relative.
This was absolute hard, and it resulted in criminal convictions, which follow people to today. And so you have people who cannot get certain jobs because they have a criminal conviction.
Monroe admitted, though, that what the proposed amendment cannot remedy is the reported homeless man sentenced to 12 months for breaking the shelter-in-place order.
Before you make an order, Kalani, that people must be at home, you have to recognize that we have some homeless people in this country. And when you recognize that we have some homeless people in this country, when you are making rules, you will then take that into account.
Monroe holds firm overall that the scheme of the state of emergency canceled a lot of the constitutional orders in the country. For the ZNS News Network, I'm Akush Lapender.
Home Minister responsible for the National Insurance Board, the Honorable Miles Larota, tabling the 10th and 11th actuarial reports of the National Insurance Board in Parliament today. Both reports include an NIB performance review, developments, projects, population, the economy, and financial projections, among others. Substantial annual deficits from 2019 to 2028 were also highlighted, with several recommendations offered, including increasing contribution rate and the retirement age from 65 to 67 years. This with figures showing a falling national birth rate and increased life expectancy among the elderly. It's against this backdrop that State Minister Larota renewed his call for immediate action to financially sustain the NIB program.
Expenditures are higher than annual income, contributions plus investment earnings. For the National Insurance Board since 2016, meaning that the reserve is used to pay benefits. The reserve for the pension branch will be exhausted in 2028, 1 year earlier than in previous actuarial review. Immediate actions are needed to restore not only the long-term financial sustainability of the scheme, but most importantly, the short-term.
Meantime, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, tabling the latest Bahamas Development Bank report in the House of Assembly Wednesday. The report details the institution's work and its ongoing initiatives as it fulfills its national development mandate through finance and investments. The Deputy Prime Minister listed those initiatives that include the BDB leveraging regional funds to increase access to financing for Bahamian-owned micro, small, and medium enterprises that will be guided by a framework for gender equity.
BDB will partner with international financing institutions, including FinDev and the Portland Equity Group, for fund development and management. The appointment of the youngest chairman in BDB's history, Senator the Honorable Quinton Lightburn, was an historic event which brought vibrancy and innovative new ideas for the bank. BDB's commitment to the next generation of national leadership is evidenced in this appointment, and its vision and energy for the bank has sparked the interest of local and international financial agencies.
Also making news tonight, the National Security Minister confirming this week that the process to clear Crown land from trespassers started at Bonefish Pond, where he says no encroachments were found, but there was law enforcement and immigration activity on 2 farms bordering that park. He told reporters that once New Providence is cleared, work on other islands will be scheduled.
Some encroachment in Harold, one of the ponds are at Harold or Wilson, some encroachment from surrounding landholders, some mechanic situations. They've gone back to Ministry of Works for the relevant steps to be taken with regard to demolishing premises that would be illegally built in a national park. I believe they've done some work at Carmichael. I haven't received an after-action report on that yet.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Stay with us.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 9th Fifth Terrace, Centerville, right in the heart of the medical service epicenter of Nassau, Bahamas.
Watch them grow and make plans for them even before they're old enough to talk. You spend a lifetime of sacrifice to pave the way for their success and create a tomorrow you too can be proud of. Can you tell who is the investor? At Leno, we believe everyone who has ever put a penny aside for a future dream is an investor. If you're new to investing, Leno's financial experts stand ready to design plans based on your goals. Let's sit down and explore the options one-on-one and see how, together, we can make your dreams come true. Whether considering traditional investments like a new home, car, your own business, security in retirement, or your child's college fund, we take the confusion out of the process and make an investor out of you. Call 396-3225 for an appointment. Leno, your bridge to the future.
Let me, first of all, welcome you to the Ministry of Tourism. The path that you are taking can potentially not just be a summer job for you, but it might be the beginning of a career in tourism and hospitality. I always say to people around the country that one of the areas where we ought to do better is to really show more ownership for the tourism industry that's been so good to us. So yes, we have exceptional tourism professionals, some of whom you will meet today. Others you will meet over the course of the next 4 weeks, who've worked very hard and given their life to tourism. There is another level of tourism, and that is investing in tourism, getting involved in businesses that will not only hire people, but create wealth and opportunities for our people in the Bahamas. So the beginning is a start that I hope will trigger something within you to help you to not just have an appreciation for the significance of this industry to our people, but hopefully it will be the spark that encourages you to participate more in the industry itself. I hope this is an experience that whets your appetite to really participate and help us own the industry.
A corporate entity encouraging residents to reuse, reduce, and recycle. Bahamian Brewery, the makers of beverages such as Sans Beer, appealing to consumers to be more eco-friendly by dropping off their used bottles for its relaunched and very popular Buy Back Bottle campaign. Officials acknowledge bottle return numbers had drastically fallen during the pandemic and hope this new campaign gets consumers back on track.
We want a return of anywhere from, I would say, 40,000 to 50,000 cases returned to us. That number dips extremely drastically, so we're definitely not seeing those type of numbers again. And it is our hope to get back to those numbers. And all empty cases right now, you receive $2 for every empty case that you return. Those empty cases that are collected here in Nassau are then sent to our home or our base in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and then they go through a cleaning process and the bottles are reused.
And to go a step further, the folks over at Bahamian Brewery are also sponsoring a national cleanup campaign set for July 30th, where volunteers across the country will assemble at designated spots to make a difference in their communities.
We want to get persons excited about recycling. We want to get persons acquainted with the fact that we do recycling and we do believe it's important to keep our island, our country clean, green, pristine. And so we thought what better way than to sponsor a national cleanup. We don't have the manpower to do the cleanup on our own, so we thought, how about getting community partners and working with organizations that are already known for doing community service and getting them to help us or be our hands and feet on the ground as we try to keep the country clean.
Summertime offers many opportunities for kids to engage in extracurricular activities, and with much of the COVID-19 restrictions relaxed, this year summer fun will be even more interactive. Our Crystal Darling ventured to the National Art Gallery's summer camp.
After 2 years of being limited to virtual spaces, many, if not all, summer camps have made an in-person return, and you can count the National Art Gallery as one of them. NAGB Education Outreach Manager Katrina Cartwright tells us how crucial art is and why it shouldn't be taken for granted.
Many of us turn to Netflix and games and music and finding a hobby during COVID when we were stuck at home and we couldn't see anybody. Like, those are the things that kept us sane. Just all of the things that we take for granted, but we realized how important they were at a time when we couldn't do the things that we normally do.
Cartwright stresses the importance of embracing creativity. For instance, here's how she says students will tap into their imaginations over the 2-week course.
The activities are based on the theme old story, folk tales, and traditions. So they are creating their own old story. We actually have Princess Pratt here right now doing a whole storytelling session with them. They're going to be making books with Sonia Farmer. They're also creating visual interpretations of stories and exploring all of the visual arts techniques, of course, drawing, painting, learning about the elements and principles of art, repetition, line, shape, color, all of those things. So there's a very academic side to it, and there's also a lot of space for the children to be incredibly creative and to really put themselves and their thoughts and their personality into the work.
And as you can imagine, art and culture goes hand in hand, having lasting positive effects for youth.
Knowing that part of your culture gives you a better understanding of how deeply ingrained this creative spirit is and who we are. But from a more, I guess, educational standpoint, research has proven that children who are actually engaged in the arts from a very young age, straight through to high school, actually think more critically, are creative problem solvers. They tend to be more well-adjusted socially, and generally just very well-rounded people.
This summer, the NAGB has partnered with the Exuma Arts Network for the summer camp, and they plan on expanding to other family islands in the future. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Crystal Darling.
House members paying tribute Wednesday to the former Speaker of the House of Assembly and former Member of Parliament for Mayaguana, Inagua, Crooked Island, Acklands, and Long Key, the Honorable Vernon Simonet. The parliamentarians also observed a moment of silence for the Inagua native who also served as a former Minister of State in the Ministry of Public Works and as non-resident ambassador to Costa Rica, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama.
I did admire him, and as I got to know him, I saw a man who was so genuine, who loved the people of Inagua, who served them and this country without exception.
Back in Inagua, we all know him as Vinny. Very, very, very humble man. And I've never yet seen Vernon angry or upset about anything.
He was fair-minded, not only when he sat in the chair, but in most of his deliberations that we are aware of. He was beloved nationally by persons from all political stripes.
What? Check old girl, boy. You say she getting married? Oh, man. Not again. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC home internet with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them...
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you have BTC home internet to unite with her mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have?
Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Hello? Keisha, you something else, boy.
Who this is? Tamika?
You ain't even remember my name? Wow, Dread.
Girl, I've been so busy. You still planning your trip?
Girl, and I can't wait. I right here online booking my car.
You dare planning trip? You vaccinated?
Girl, we had to. We ain't been nowhere since this pandemic started. Girl, and we got a 14-day vacation.
Best vacation ever.
Girl, are you though?
Well, I know you was gonna get the vaccine because you too like travel. When y'all get your vaccine?
Girl, long time. Because you gotta get your first dose. Wait. Then get your second dose at least 2 weeks before you travel. Johnny get his vaccine and he 12. Even Grammy get hers. Child, and Grammy say she ain't get no money. But I see you hiding that under the mattress.
Child, let me send my list, because I know you going shopping.
Keisha, don't play with me.
Vaccinate today, live tomorrow. A message by PAHO WHO, Canada, and US Aid.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Many would agree growing up on the family islands in many ways offers experiences far unique from that of city life. In this special feature, our Lloyd Allen explores that journey among a number of young persons on the southern island of Acklins who, despite the struggles, say they wouldn't live their life any other way.
For some Bahamians, growing up on the family island is an invaluable experience which helps to build strong character, resilience, and a drive towards success. The same stands true for many youngsters across Acklins Island. A few of them shared their experiences with us during a recent trip there. Here's Stevon Rose from Salina Point.
One of the most things about growing around here as a child, there isn't too much things for the young kids to do. So it's basically just fishing and going in the sea and just basically stuff like that, rambling in the bush.
With the advent of social media, connections are easier. However, challenges remain.
Not everyone uses the social media platform for the right stuff. And I would say the things that we was supposed to be exposed to and touching on, that's the things that we don't get.
He added that survival on the island proved brutal in times past, but over time, harsh living conditions have improved.
When it comes to food, sometimes we be down here stuck without food for like weeks if the mailboat don't come. You see what I'm saying? And even with the store system, sometimes you have to wait until people feel like serving you in the stores. So it's really hard sometimes. I must say it's easier now than it was back then.
A number of positive upgrades also helping to improve opportunities for young people, like a recent competition to create 3D structures using the Cascarilla bark. Top participants walking away with tablets, laptops, and renewed hope. But as the new generation prepares for life on the southern island, 6-year-old Shania Zion Ambrisser says she's well aware of what city life offers, but prefers to remain in the place she calls home.
Acklins, is very exciting. It's very great.
How is Nassau different from Acklins?
You have plenty place to go, and then they have water parks, what Acklins don't have. And then the beach is very far. You'll have to take a car there or taxis. You don't have a car.
Which one would you prefer to live on?
Acklins, because it's very quickly to reach to the beach, and then it's very quick to reach to a store.
With the goal of becoming a future family island doctor, this island girl maintains there is no place like Acklins.
My name is Shania Canala, and I'm happy to be on this island and be a Bahamian.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Germinator. We are under mostly cloudy skies. Temperature 86 degrees. Relative humidity at 74%. We have southerly winds at 9 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,019.0 millibars. That is 30.09 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 87 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Green Toll Key. In Abaco, Marshall, Abaco, 86 degrees. The Berry Islands, 82, 85 in Allenstown, Bimini, 85 also in Harbor Island. Rockstown, Eleuthera, 88 degrees. Black Point, Exuma, and Kemps Bay, South Andros, reporting 85. Fresh Creek, Central Andros at 84 degrees. 86 in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rim Key. Georgetown, Exuma, 87. 86 degrees in Ragged Island, Clarence, Johnstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Megwana, 87. Ackland's 87. Matchetown, Nago, 86. And the Turks and Caicos Islands also at 86 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center in the Northwest and Central Islands tonight. Southerly winds once again, 10 to 15 knots. Wave fights at 2 to 4 feet. High tide that takes place at 8:27 this evening. For the southeast Bahamas, southeast winds at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet. Caution flags are up for boaters in the southeast Bahamas tonight. And then tomorrow, Thursday through Friday in the northwest and central islands, southeasterly winds at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide will take place at 8:48 in the morning with a low tide at 2:55 in the afternoon. For the southeast Bahamas, Thursday into Friday, southeast winds once again at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights at 3 to 6 feet, meaning that caution flag will carry over right into Friday in the southeast Bahamas. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Sun. It's bonefish season and they on the run. I gotta find bonefish fully to catch me some.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
He's so meek and lowly.
Great July celebrations start with the savings at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Hellman's mayonnaise, 30 ounce, $5.89. Best Value whole kernel corn, 15 ounce, $1.09. Danish spare ribs, $2.59 per pound. Red or green seedless grapes, $2.99 per pound. Fresh pork shoulders, $1.79 per pound. Find your favorites at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
It is never easy to witness nature's wrath. One single named path of destruction over the course of a few hours, sometimes minutes, sometimes seconds, can change your life forever. There's nothing you can do to prevent a hurricane from being destructive by nature, but there is something you can do to protect your assets and ensure safety for not only yourself, but also the ones you love. When disaster strikes, be prepared. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
This is ZNS Total Sports. Welcome to your sports on this Wednesday, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports news after a long layoff due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Bahama's Bodybuilding Federation set to hold its national championships at the Atlantis Theater this weekend. With over 50 competitors set to take the stage over several divisions, it's promising to be an exciting time for athletes and fitness enthusiasts.
We'll be showcasing some 10 different categories, ranging from bodybuilding, which is the hardest of them all, the intense persons who would have put in all the effort and lift the heavy weights and eat the 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day to achieve such massive structure. Then we'll turn it around and somehow the other detail that to bring it to the stage for the judges to judge. And then you have all the way down to the more softer categories, which is like women's bikini, where you have a lot of the female competitors who are not so much muscle bound, they call it, will just come and showcase a curvy, structured, shapely body. And so we're encouraging the general public to come out, give us their support.
A lot of these athletes had to resort to home workouts, going on an open park when they were allowed to, and it made them really show how driven they really are to not only compete, but to stay healthy. Because beyond the message of competition in our sport, it's all about healthy lifestyles, exercise, healthy eating, so our message goes beyond the stage. into wanting to get into the schools, wanting to get into youth programs, church programs, anything that has to do with the development of youth and even elderly persons, because the message that we want to show is that the importance of health and fitness. You know, so the coming out of just a small atmosphere where they can only train on a small level, getting back into the big gyms and being able to expand their workout is something that, of course, was to be applauded and very much welcomed.
And for the competitors Terry and Kemp and local sportscaster Marcellus Hall, the training certainly hasn't been easy.
I'd say for over the past 12 weeks, it's been really intense. Training-wise, training twice a day, cardio in the mornings, training in the evenings, eating up to 6-7 meals every day. And that's just strict diet and, no cheating, to get the best of your physique, to show your best and showcase the best on stage. So it's just been really intense these past, I'd say, up to 12 weeks.
A little late and I made the decision, probably less than 12 weeks, but I was training all along, so it wasn't too much of an adjustment. But again, like he said, these last, 4 or 5 weeks in particular, just kind of buckling down and really putting in the extra workouts, really conscious of the nutrition, not taking in too many calories, more protein, those kind of stuff. It starts to take a toll on you in these last weeks because your energy levels are low. But this is the time when you really got to focus because it's coming down to nitty-gritty and every moment counts, and you got to really make sure that you get every bit out of yourself that you can.
News from the NBA, well, 2 of our 3 Bahamian NBA stars playing for the same team may be a possibility. This is talks of DeAndre Ayton being acquired by the Indiana Pacers via sign and trade has begun to heat up over the past few days. Of course, fellow Bahamian NBA star Buddy Hield was traded to the Pacers midway through the 2021-2022 season. Rumors of the former number 1 overall pick leaving Phoenix began last offseason when the Suns and Ayton couldn't reach a deal on a rookie extension. Several teams have since emerged as possible partners for a sign and trade deal, including the Toronto Raptors, Sacramento Kings, and Detroit Pistons. The Brooklyn Nets even entered the mix when Kevin Durant reportedly expressed his preference to land in Phoenix. The 2 sides haven't agreed to a deal. Brooklyn reportedly requested all-star point guard Devin Booker in exchange for Durant. Meanwhile, the Suns seem to have gone back to the drawing board and found a deal they're willing to make with the Pacers. Details around a potential sign and trade remain unclear, and the Pacers have even expressed a willingness to give him an offer sheet outright. According to NBA insiders, the prevailing sentiment is that Ayton is likely headed to Indianapolis. Indiana is coming off a 25-57 season, the worst season since 1985-86. The Pacers made the NBA playoffs 9 of the 10 years from 2010 to 2020, but have since undergone a rebuild. More basketball news. Bahamas women's national basketball team having their first practice after arriving in Cuba for the FIBA Caribbean Basketball Confederation Women's Championship. The 12-woman team includes veterans Felicia Kelly, Valerie Nesbitt, Brittany Harrison, Roberta Quant, and LaToya Roll. Also on the team is Tiffany Wild Goose, Latavia Brennan, Antonisha Moultrie, Felicia Demerit, Danica Lightborn, Lorraine Oliver, and Carolyn Baptiste. Donnie Culmer is the head coach. He's being assisted by Devin Johnson and Diatsi Delancey. The team is expected to play host country Cuba in their first game later this evening. We'll have scores for you from that game in a later newscast. And young sailor Craig Ferguson hoping to build on the momentum of his most recent accomplishment, having secured a gold medal at the World Optimist Championships. He hopes to close out his junior sailing career on a good note.
In November, I have my last regatta in Optimist class, which would be 2022 North American Championships, which will be held here. And I hope to win that, and then from there on it's lasers and maybe windsurfing.
And that's been your look at sports. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Hello? Keisha, you something else, boy.
Who this is? Tamika?
You don't even remember my name? Wow, Dread.
Girl, I've been so busy. You still planning your trip?
Girl, and I can't wait. I right here online booking my car.
You dare planning trip? You vaccinated?
Girl, we had to. We ain't been nowhere since this pandemic started. Girl, and we got a 14-day vacation.
Best vacation ever.
Girl, are you though?
Well, I know you was gonna get the vaccine because you too like travel. When y'all get your vaccine?
Girl, long time. Because you got to get your first dose. Wait. Then get your second dose at least 2 weeks before you travel. Johnny get his vaccine and he 12. Even Grammy get hers. Child, and Grammy say she ain't get no money. But I see her hiding that under the mattress.
Child, let me send my list, because I know you going shopping.
Keisha, don't play with me.
Vaccinate today, live tomorrow. A message by PAHO WHO, Canada, and USAID.
What do you want from a cloud solution? You want flexibility and edge? You want to modernize applications with the ability to deliver new ones with lightning speed. You want an infrastructure that's automated, secure, cost-effective, and scalable. You want to give the end user the freedom they want with the control you need. You can't get all that from just any cloud. You need something better. You need Bahamas Cloud. Contact the experts today at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
I was actually born into farming. My grandfather, who is 80 years old, he's a first-generation farmer. 3 generations later, I decided to go into farming. So we do have 2 operating farms at this time, the one in Nassau and the one in Andros. This season, Access Accelerator assisted us in funding our strawberry project here on Andros. With us being able to access the Fish and Farmers Grant, it has actually given us the capital that we needed to start this farming season for our strawberry crop. We do believe that people eating organic food is very important. We want to offer safe food and organic food. Some persons are still shocked that we've been existing for 8 years. Outside of having to come to our website to make purchases, and we can get more of our products to our clients, we'd be happy to do that. And local distribution would help us with that. I can tell you the industry is not attractive for young people. However, if you are passionate about something, you will definitely be able to excel in that area. And at this point, for me, it's fun to be a farmer in the Bahamas.
Hello? Keisha, you something else, boy.
Who this is? Tamika?
You don't even remember my name? Wow, Dread.
Girl, I've been so busy. You still planning your trip?
Girl, and I can't wait. I right here online booking my car.
You dare planning trip? You vaccinated?
Girl, we had to. We ain't been nowhere since this pandemic started. Girl, and we got a 14-day vacation.
Best vacation ever.
Girl, are you though?
Well, I know you was gonna get the vaccine because you too like travel. When y'all get your vaccine?
Girl, long time. Because you gotta get your first dose, wait, then get your second dose at least 2 weeks before you travel. Johnny get his vaccine and he 12. Even Grammy get hers. Child, and Grammy say she ain't get no money. But I see her hiding that under the mattress.
Child, let me send my list, because I know you going shopping.
Keisha, don't play with me.
Vaccinate today, live tomorrow. A message by PAHO WHO, Canada, and USAID.
Great July celebrations start with the savings at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Hellman's Mayonnaise, 30 ounce, $5.89. Best Value Whole Kernel Corn, 15 ounce, $1.09. Danish spare ribs, $2.59 per pound. Red or green seedless grapes, $2.99 per pound. Fresh pork shoulders, $1.79 per pound. Find your favorites at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Awesomely, this is a beautiful experience. I can't lie. This is my first time doing this sort of charity work, and I mean, it feels good to help out, you know? There's a can drive coming up, and other initiatives are part of the Giving a Helping Hand campaign, and I encourage anyone that's willing to lend their support in any way, shape, or form to come through and give of your time.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, the tropics remain quiet this evening. There are a couple of tropical waves traversing the tropical belt, but they will have some difficulty developing as a result of strong upper-level wind shearing and the Sahara dust. Satellite pictures showing a mid to upper-level low that's spinning across the southeast Bahamas. That's being advected towards the west, and that will trigger pockets of showers and thunderstorms during the course of the night and tomorrow. As far as we're concerned here in the capital, patchy clouds and a bit warm with a slight chance of a pop-up shower late tonight. 79 degrees for your low temperature. Tomorrow we're looking at partly sunny with a morning shower and an afternoon thunderstorms popping up as well. High temperature tomorrow should get up to about 89 degrees. And your extended weather forecast off and on showers as a result of that mid to upper level troughing right into Friday. But things pan out quite nicely on Saturday as that low moves more towards the west, bringing more sunshine to our forecast during the daytime. But those temperatures going to remain very, very warm around the 90-degree mark with those heat indexes somewhere in the low 100s. Jamanita.
Thanks, Basil. Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
AID has everything you need and more to complement your home's decor. Luxurious bamboo bath towels, face towels from $1.25 and bath towels from $5.45. Shower curtains from $2.54 and organizers in stylish finishes. Bath mat sets from $7.27 in a multitude of styles and colors. Bed sheet sets from $9.95 and 7-piece comforter sets from $49.95. Doormats from $1.93 with matching runners and hundreds of area carpets. Sofa covers from $19.95, plain and crushed sheer curtains from $5.25 and thousands of panels to choose from. Blinds from $7.02 and curtain rods from $2.89. Ceramic and porcelain dishes, tablecloths,